Installing a Kubernetes cluster is not an easy task, and of course is even more difficult to install that if you don't have internet access. How can we install a Kubernetes cluster if we don't have internet access? Let's check it. The problem with zero trust network access or Airgap environments is that we don't have access to the public cloud. We don't have access to the internet to get some RPMs or container images. Then we need to use a PC online with a VPN connection to those environments that allow us to connect to the internet and then get all the required files that we need to install our Kubernetes cluster. Then once we have downloaded all the packages, we can just zip this and then pull those files into the environment where we are going to install the cluster. Boom, then we have our cluster up and running, and all that without internet access. So we are going to install this Kubernetes cluster with one master node and two worker nodes, and these nodes are going to be connected, of course, through the Kubernetes cluster network. Some basic concepts just to have a general idea. In this cluster, we are going to have our pods running, each of these pods with the containers inside. It will depend on the use case, how many containers you have in a pod. Normally, you may have one pod per container or one container per pod. And it's normal as well to see that some pods have more than one container. It will depend on the use case and the application that you are installing in the cluster. Of course, all the processes that are running in the VM, the kubelet, which is on charge of running these pods, and we are going to need a container runtime engine. We have different options, but we are going to use the Docker in this case. Remember, we don't have access to the internet, so how can we just install the cluster without having the access? For that, we will install the Docker, private Docker registry in our cluster. That private Docker registry will allow us to deploy or install all the pods, all the containers, and those containers are going to be instantiated by the cluster. Let's check how to do that. Okay, so what we are going to do is to install all the required packages in virtual machine in my PC where I have access to the internet. Then I'm going to move all those packages to the environment where I don't have internet, in this Airgap environment. Of course, I'm going to simulate that with some virtual machines in the same instance, in the same PC that I'm working with. But the idea is that you download those packages in your PC, if you have Ubuntu installed, from your Ubuntu install, download all the packages, or the packages that with the same operative system that you have in this Airgap environment. Then just SCP those files into that bare metal or virtual machine in the lab environment, and then install all those packages. Let's start to see that. So I'm going to use multipass on Windows, and I have the option with multipass to instantiate virtual machines very easily. So let's start with that. Let me show you multipass find. We list all the available versions that we have for Ubuntu. So I'm going to work with the Jamie, the 22 version. So let me create this virtual machine, copying this command here. Yes, to CPUs, I think that would be okay. So I'm going to create this PC online, which is going to simulate the virtual machine with internet connectivity. After this, I'm going to create a master node, and I will create the worker nodes. If we need more than one master node or more than one worker node, we can just prepare one VM and then just replicate that or copy the virtual machine creating several instances of that kind of flavor, of that flavor of the VM, and then we can just easily escalate our cluster with more than one master or more than one worker node. Let's wait to this launch to be completed. Okay, so PC online is completed. Before showing you the list of VMs, let me just create another one. Master Kubernetes. Okay. Remember, what I'm going to do is to create a cluster with a single master node and two worker nodes. But as I was explaining, with this master Kubernetes, when you complete all the installation and configuration of this VM, then you can just replicate that VM to have more than one master node. We will see what are the commands required to expand that Kubernetes cluster. Okay, let's wait for the master Kubernetes VM to be created. Okay, that's it. So multipass list. Let me show you the VMs that were created. We have primary VM, but that is installed by default by multipass. So we are going to use the master and the PC online. Let me copy these IPs because we are going to need it later, and I used to forget all these IPs. So let me copy this here. No. That's it. Let me remove this and this. Okay, so my master and my PC. Okay. As I was explaining, what I'm going to do is to download all the required packages, not install those packages in the PC online or the online PC. But once that I have downloaded all those packages, the idea is just to SCP those into the remote environment. Let me connect to the PC online. This is similar as in a remote environment when you connect with the SSH. So I'm now inside the new VM that just created. Let's update our catalog and install some packages. Okay, let's install some packages that we are going to need to download. All the Docker and Kubernetes required packages. And this last one, SSHFS, is a package that I need to install for my Windows environment to connect to the VMs that we have created in order to mount file system files or directories, because I'm not going to connect via SSH or SCP those commands from my local environment, then from the PC online to my Windows environment, then to my Windows, from my Windows to the offline machine. I'm not going to do that, so I'm going to just mount the directories, and automatically I'm going to simulate that I just transferred those files, but I'm mounting those directories from the online PC, taking those files to the offline PC. Okay, let me install those packages. And in this case, in the meantime, let me just modify this. This is my PC online. That's it. And now that I have those packages installed, let me create this directory where I'm going to download all the Docker engine files. And then I'm going to cd to this directory that I just created, and I need to go back to my Windows PC environment to mount this directory that I just created. Let me do one thing. I need to remove that. Hold on. Let me remove this directory because I need to mount the file system before creating anything inside the VMs. I need to mount that in the Windows environment. So let me change this here, and I'm going to say that this is the master node offline. Okay, so I'm going to these files that you see here are from previous tests that I did. So let me remove this. If I check in this directory, there is nothing. So I'm going to mount the directory that I want inside the PC online. That's it. I'm still have nothing in here. Now I'm going to create the directory where I'm going to download the packages. If I go back to my master node and do the the directory, okay, now you see that I have this Docker directory that I created in the VM. So I'm just simulating that I'm transferring those files from one VM to another VM or to my Windows host. So okay, let's go back where we were before. To download the Docker packages, I need to update my the repository and download the keys that I need to download those packages. So let's do that. I'm going to create a directory here in my PC and then update or download the GPG. Okay, create directory and then download that. That's it. And setting up the Docker repository. That's it. And I'm going to update my catalog. Update. Yes. Let me scroll a little more here. And okay, this command finished. I'm going just to, in case that we have an error downloaded the packages. This is, if you go to the Docker web page in the instructions, you will see that they just advise you that in case you have an error. So I'm going to avoid that and just change the mode of the permissions in that file. Now let's start downloading the packages. So what I'm going to do is not installing the packages in this VM, but only download the files, the Debian files, and those files are then moved to the offline environment. So I'm going to download the Docker CLI, container IO, and compose. That's it. Okay. If you go to the Kubernetes installation website, you will see that since the version 1.24 Kubernetes, the Docker CRI was removed, so we need to download and in the offline environment install that as well. Okay, I got this apt warning. This is a warning, and we are going to just ignore that. So this is a warning. Let's, as I said, let me just get this Debian package as well. I think with this, we completed all the required downloading all the required packages for the Docker. So one thing, let me move my Debian. I thought that I was inside the Docker. So let me move dev to the Docker directory. Okay. I don't have anything here. Yeah, that's okay. So let's change directories to the Docker. Just just to show you what are the packages that were downloaded. Okay, the compose, the CE, CLI, containerd, and CRI. So I'm going to show you quickly here in my Windows host that dear Docker, those packages are there. Okay, again, going back into the PC online virtual machine, let's start downloading the packages required for the Kubernetes environment. So the Kubernetes cluster. So let's install the repository and update the repository for Kubernetes. I'm going to do this quickly. So install the GPG for Kubernetes, update my list, and then update the catalog. Okay, after this, okay, that's completed, let me create another directory where I'm going, just to have this a little more organized, I'm going to create a separate directory where I'm going to download all the Kubernetes packages. So with this command, I'm just creating the directory and changing to the directory that I just created. I was in the Docker and now I am in the kube. So let's download those Kubernetes packages. I'm going to download the latest version. In this case, I'm just specifying explicitly what is the version that I want to download. But if you just without the version, it will download the latest one available. Or if you want to download another version like a 120, of course, you can just edit the command and then download the specific Kubernetes version. Okay. Let's wait to these Kubernetes packages to be completed, and as in the meantime, you will see that in this phase of the steps that we need to do in a real environment, because I don't have right now an Airgap environment in a lab or something similar. I'm simulating that I have my PC online and my master node, but of course all these two VMs are locally in my PC. Then in a real environment, what you will need to do is to tar the files, zip the files that are in your directory, in this directory. So let me zoom a little here just for you to see what I'm just explaining. So in a real environment, you will need to tar and zip the directory where we downloaded the packages, and then you will need to go to in your PC, your local PC, then you need to SCP, which is a remote copy files to the node, the real node that is in the somewhere in the cloud. Okay, so you need to copy those files. But in this case, if you remember, I mounted some directories in my host. So no, this is not the one. So here you will see that I have the kube directory, the Docker directory, and that is in my host, in my Windows PC. In this case, the simulation is to copy those files into the master node. And to do that, I'm going to get into the master VM and then mount the directory as well for me to automatically copy or transfer those files. Let's do that. Then let me connect to the master node VM that we created at the beginning of the video. That's it. Now I am connected to the master Kubernetes node, and I'm not going to copy those files from here, but I'm going to just to install same packages that I did in the PC online. Let me update the catalog here. I'm going to install the required packages in my master node as well. So now that I installed those packages and SSHFS, let me exit for my VM, and I'm going to mount, and hopefully I will see the same files that I have. Let's see. I'm just doubting a little here. Mount, and I'm going to mount the master Kubernetes into the home user home, a rebellion Airgap. Let's see. Okay, so let's go back again to the master node environment, and what do I have here? Okay, it worked, I think. Let's see. LR Airgap. Yes. So we have Docker packages and we have kube packages. Okay, everything is just ready to continue. Let me just decrease a little the font here. And okay, let's see where we were. We downloaded the packages for Docker. We downloaded the packages for Kubernetes, and we copied the packages that we downloaded. And now that we download all the packages from our PC online, the PC that has internet access, now that we have those files in our master node Airgap environment, there was no connectivity, but from our PC we copy, transfer those files. Okay, so let's install Docker in the Airgap environment. So let me change directory to La Rebellion and then to Docker. That's it. And then I'm going to install all these packages that I have here. That's it. Okay, let's enable the services for Docker. Enable. Start. Let's check the status on that service. Okay, active. Let's daemon reload. Let's enable the CRI, and that's it. And let's see what do we have here. Sudo docker version. That's it. So we have our Docker engine up and running with the version 20. And now let's go to the kube directory and do the same. Install the packages that we have in that directory. Just before that, let me kubeadm. So we don't have that command here in our master node. Then let's install the packages in kube. Okay, let's wait a little. Okay, so let's mark these packages as installed. What is this? apt mark. So what we are doing is mark the packages as held, and what this does is to mark packages as installed. That was what we did. Now you saw before that kubeadm was not available in this environment. Let's see a little clear. And then now what I need is depending on the version that you are going to install, you will need some Docker images. In this case, we install the version 1.24. Then I need to check what are the images that I need to download from my PC that has internet connection. So I see that I need this bunch of packages, 7 packages, no packages, in this case are Docker containers. So let's install those packages, okay? I'm going to switch to the environment where I have internet connection, So let's download the Docker containers, copy those containers into tar files, and then transfer those files to the master node. Let's do that. I'm in kube here, but let me go to the home, and here I'm going to create Kubernetes images directory. I'm going to see this kube images directory, and let's pull all the required packages for the container images. Okay, so in this environment, the PC Online, we download everything to be transferred to the Airgap environment, but we didn't install Docker in this. So let's do that. I could do that in my Windows environment, but let's just go with all this simulation, and assuming that your PC has Docker installed, But let me just go back to the Docker installation. So where is that? PC online CD. Oh yeah, R Docker, and then I need to install the packages. And I'm going to start the services for Docker. Once I complete this, I can just download the package, the Docker images. That's it. Let's start the services here. Okay. I will share this list of commands for you to follow, or you can just, of course, follow the video and type everything. So, okay, the Docker service is up and running. Let me do these additional commands. And the last one, just to validate that the Docker is there. Okay, yeah, we are ready. And then let's go back to the Docker download, Docker container download. CD, and this is going to be in another directory by mistake. Okay, that's it. Now we download the, what happened? What permission? Okay, sudo. That's it. We are downloading the packages. Yes. Let me edit this here. Sudo and sudo. That's it. Okay, that was completed. Let me just go with all this bunch of Docker container images. Let's wait. Okay. Work in progress. After all these Docker images are downloaded, we need to package those in a tar file to move those files into the Airgap environment. Okay, where we are in pause. Okay, almost. That's it. And now let me show you with one command what we pretend to do. So I am in the Kubernetes images, and I'm going to save the Docker image that we just downloaded and save it into the tar file. Before that, let me show you something. Sudo Docker images. That's it. So these are the images that we have downloaded. I don't have anything here in this directory. Now I'm going to save. Okay, we have the Kube API server already packaged and ready to be transferred to the Airgap environment. I'm going to save all the other required Docker container images. Okay. As I said before, in a real environment, when you have this in somewhere in the cloud and you have only connectivity from your PC, you will need to package all these tar files in a zip file, and then SCP the zip file into that environment. But of course, we mounted the directory, and automatically we are going to see those files in our master node environment. Let me error response from daemon. Let me see. what happened here. Let me see what happened here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think we have, okay, core DNS there is with no space here. Why? Docker images. Sudo. Where are you guys? 3.6. Yes, of course we don't have that in our Docker catalog. So 186 is not that the version that we need. Core DNS. Okay, there is an error here. Let me fix that. Let me fix that here and here. So now let's go back to our PC Online. PC Online, yes. What not found manifest to core DNS seems to be okay. Okay, let me just copy and paste all this string here. I missed the V in that image before, so let's add that V here and then in here as well. One more time. Go back to PC Online, PC Online, PC Online. Okay. Now it is done. Let me tar this Docker container. That's it. Okay, 3, 6, 7, yeah. And as I said, in a real environment, you will need to zip all these files and then copy to the remote directory. But let me see if yeah, let me move the files into the Airgap, because remember we create that directory in the incorrect place. This is in the home directly. So let me go to the home, and I'm going to move these files to here. Okay, this is my PC Online, where I just downloaded the packages or the Docker images. I just keep saying packages, but the Docker images. And then let's go back to the master node. Okay, we transferred the files with SCP. Of course, it was all simulated, right? Then cd Kubernetes images. That's it. We have all the Docker container images here. Let me show you something. No images in this master environment, master Kubernetes. Then what we are going to do is to load all these tar files into this environment. So this is in case we copy from the online PC SCP, then we can just create a directory and extract the GC file that we create. once we extract these files, we can just load those. And let me edit this a little because I need sudo here. Let me edit that here as well. That's it. Let's check Docker images sudo. That's it. Now we have those images here in the master node. And then we need to provision network that a Kubernetes cluster is going to need. Let's do that. We are going to use Flannel. I'm just sharing these links here in the notes. Once you get these notes, you can just, if you want more information and you want to go into more details on Flannel, you can just go into those websites. There are other options for the networking for Kubernetes, but we are going to install Flannel. So again, I need to go to my PC online. This is the PC that has internet connectivity. Remember, the master node doesn't have internet connectivity. So let's get the kube Flannel. Hold on. I need to do this in a different directory. And that step is not here. Okay. So cd mk dir Flannel. cd. I think that's it. Okay, yeah. So now let's download this YAML file, and let's see what are the images that we need to download to save and move into the Airgap environment. Let's see. So we have commented these 3 images, and we need this Flannel CNI, CNI Flannel, and these 2 are the same. So we need those 2 images. These are different from the one from my notes, so let's go with this. Okay, and I'm going to edit my notes. So let me copy this. So pulling these 2 Docker images and then save them. Save, yeah. Let's see. Okay, downloading. We are not going to need to zip those files and SCP. That is going to be automatically copied to the master node offline. So what else? Sudo docker images. What? Docker images, and then here it is, Flannel CNI. I am in the PC online, moving to the master node. If I go one directory up here, and then it was Flannel. That's it. We have the YAML, we have the tar files, and then we need to load the files. Let's do that. Docker load Flannel. In this case, the nodes were incorrect. Let's do that with this guy first. Sudo. And let me copy this to update my nodes. That's it. Now let's load the other file, this Flannel. Removing this and copying. Oh no, that's it. It was loaded. Yes. So, okay, we have Docker images. Oh, Docker images. Flannel. Flannel is there now. So I was explaining you that you can just configure this ingress network containers in case, or pods in case you want to enable the ingress traffic into your cluster. And like if you deploy e-commerce solution and you have the web page and the user needs to connect to the pod that is publishing the application, then you need to enable the ingress traffic. Let me show you quickly this. This is what I was explaining. So you have your customers for your application and you need to enable the ingress for the cluster to then handle the traffic with the services and of course the services with the pods. So this is what we can do that with the Nginx. So let's do that in our PC Online. PC Online, let me cd Kadir Nginx and change to that directory. Let me clear the screen here. So I'm in Nginx in the PC Online, and let's get the YAML file. Let me download this. Okay. Let me try with the, oh yeah, 124. Let me go with this wget. That's it. So let me remove this. And remember, we installed deployed the Kubernetes version 124. So again, we can just do what we did before with the Flannel to know what are the Docker images that we need. Yeah, grep image, and in this case deploy. So we have controller, webhook. This is the same. So these two. Let's pull and let's save them here in the same Nginx directory. Oh my gosh. So sudo now, trying again. Why? The problem that I faced was because the container that I tried to download from docker.io has a self-signed certificate from unknown authority. The way to solve that problem, you need to let Docker know that you trust in that certificate. So you need to create a directory in etc docker certs.d, download the certificate, and then just move that certificate into that directory, and that's it. I execute the steps from the Stack Overflow site, and then I downloaded that certificate. I moved that certificate into the directory as you saw before. Then I just update the certificates, but I then create the directory for the registry inside the etc docker certificates daemon or directory, and then I create the registry kubernetes.io exactly as it is here in the registry where we are going to pull the images. I create that directory. After creating the directory, then just move the certificate. We can move this file because when we execute the certificates update, it is just kept into the catalog. Then I move that into the directory that I just created. Then I restart the Docker service and I pull the Docker controller. It worked. I can just show you Docker images. You will see that I have the registry nginx controller here. So I will pull the other one, which is the webhook certificate generator. You see, it is working. Okay, once this is downloaded, then I will save this into which directory is that? Where is my directory? In the meantime, what this is saving, I'm just to explain quickly what I did because I didn't see the directories locally in the PC, so I just stopped the virtual machine. Once this was stopped, I started that again. Connect again into the PC online, and then check the directory. It was there, and all the directories inside that as well. So I recovered that those files. How did I stop? How did I get into that solution? Because in the documentation it says that if I mount a directory and the instance is not currently running, once it is running, the directory is automatically mounted. So I just give it a try and it worked. Okay, I see. Then this is, I'm going to save that with a dash. Let me go back to my PC online. Let me check now. Yeah. Now I have a 200 MBs file here. And let me remove this guy. And now let's save the other guy. This little guy. And I'm not using colons. No. I'm going to change this with a dash. And I'm going to fix that error here and here just to have the same pattern. Okay. Okay. I have 200 MBs and the 47 MBs for the third gen. That's it. Okay, again, we are simulating the the SCP from the PC Online to the Kubernetes Master node, and then I'm not going to execute these steps, and I'm going to jump into my offline machine, which is the Airgap master node. Let me connect to the master node and multipass. Let me check. Let me check if the file system is already mounted here. Multipass info master Kubernetes. Oh, I think the file system should be mounted, but let's see if I see that inside the VM. Multipass shell master Kubernetes. Okay, I have here the Airgap, but yeah, I don't have these files here visible, so let's exit from this virtual machine and again do the same that I did with the master, with the PC offline. Multipass stop master Kubernetes. It will take some seconds to start the VM. So it is starting, and we are going to start from loading everything now in the offline machine. Okay. Let's start from here. Once the VM starts, we are going to load the Docker images, the Nginx Docker images. And after this, I will make a pause here and continue the recording from here. But let's upload the Docker images. Okay, multipass shell master Kubernetes. And now let's see if this worked. cdm rebellion airgap, cd nginx. Oh yes, ll. That's it. It worked. It made me sweat, but it worked. Okay, so we are in the Airgap. We are going to uncompress those files in a real scenario, but remember, we are just sharing the files between the different VMs. Then now I am in the Nginx directory. I'm going to fix this thing here, sudo, and copy this. Okay, so this should load the two tar files into the Docker. Let's wait. Docker images sudo. I just always forget that. So we have registry, controller, and registry webhook. That's it. That's it. So I'm going to make a pause now and continue from deploying the Kubernetes cluster. I'm back. So far we have downloaded all the required images and packages into our Airgap environment, the master Kubernetes node, which is without internet access. We can just upload the files, but we cannot connect to any other external system. So we have everything here ready just for the Kubernetes deployment. Let's start with that. Okay, so again, sudo docker images. Okay, so we have the images there. These are the images, and let's continue from here. So let's name this server. That's it. Let's execute the recommended steps in the Kubernetes installation. Set enforce. I'm not going to install this directly from my Airgap environment because I want to have all the dependencies downloaded from the PC online. So let's get one step back here. I'm going to update my notes here, just adding that package into the list of initial downloads, which are over here. I'm going to add this one here, Linux utils. Okay, so that is in the nodes now updated, but from the PC online I will need to download the package similar to this. So let me go to the online. I'm going to download that directly here in this directory. So sudo apt get load, then the package, which is Linux utils. Okay, we have the warning that we can ignore. I have that here. Now I'm going to jump back to the master node, and here, okay, I have the package, so I need to sudo the package install Linux. Okay, so this is the master node. Let's try again the set env 0. Okay, I can go back to the step where we left this. Downloading networking files is already done, nginx as well. Loading the images. Again, we are here. So swap off, set env, and let's add this information in the Linux config. Okay, oh, sorry for that. Oh my gosh, okay. Let me see if just adding sudo here, I'm going to be able to do that. No, it's not possible. Okay, I found this link in Stack Overflow to fix this issue about adding this information into the file that is owned by root. Okay, so let's see the content of this file now. It was empty, but now I'm going to add the IP of this VM in the etc host because I want to have all the host IPs in etc host. So once we start creating the additional VMs for additional master nodes or for worker nodes, we need to update that etc host for the cluster being able to reach the different nodes by FQDN. These are different files. I didn't realize that. So let me see. I'm going just to delete the file that is empty, which is this. If you can just etc linux config. Okay, that is empty. I'm just going to remove to test appropriately these nodes. So sudo rm etc linux config, and then I'm going to paste a new command that I have added here. So sudo bash cat, yeah, okay, that should create the file with the content. That's it. Now I'm going to remove this from here, and I need, unfortunately, to edit the file that I create incorrect. So sudo di etc system control .d kubernetes conf. I'm going to delete that line and then save it. That's it. I'm going to add what I have here in my IP, which is this one. 172.24.216.54. So I need to do this with the sudo bash -c cat and adding that into the etc host. Okay, we are all set here. Let's try that. Let's see. And okay, that's it. We fixed that issue. So now let's continue. I'm going to comment this here in the notes, and I'm going to enable the kubelet. Okay. Sorry, but these commands I tested before in VM where I was the root user. So okay, we have enabled that, and then now let's see what version we have installed. 124 should be the one. 124, yes, 124. The connection is refused because we have not completed the steps, but let's continue. The configuration for this cluster, what I'm doing here is saving all the, instead of sending the logs to the console, yes, I'm sending that information to the to a log file. I'm saving that because we are going to need that information for additional clusters that we are going to create. If you know what you are doing, you can make a check no further. Okay, let's install this with sudo. And yeah, init, that's it. Let's see. It's not root. Let me update that as well in the notes. And no, this is not the place, sudo. So what is the error now? Yeah, because this is a small VM, so I'm going to ignore this error. Let's check here. Okay, I think ignore reply error strings. Let me see exactly what was the error. Ignore preferred errors. It is not exactly the same. The message that I need to capture. So let's see. The socket, and let's add this ignore errors with this is new. I haven't tested that before, but let's see. I think it is working. We don't have enough memory here. Probably when we create the VM with the multipass, we should add maybe 1 giga will be more than enough just to avoid this warning, and then we can just make it with that. So let me just update the command in the notes. I'm not seeing additional logs because everything is sent to this file, and in this file we are going to have the command to join the additional nodes. So I'm going to change this by this. Okay, it's completed. Let's go and continue with this. Where am I? Okay, the .cube for Ubuntu user, and I'm going to copy the admin config. I will show you what is the content of this file. This is the file that the Kubernetes used to connect to the cluster. So I'm going to copy that from the Kubernetes directory. If I just cut dot q. Oh no, I'm not in home. Dot q config. Where am I? L dot cube. It was created with root. Okay. I'm just missing this last comment. I copy the file with root, so the owner is root. I need to change that, and now, okay, these are the certificate that was created for the cluster, the user, kubeadm, and the cluster, the server where this cluster is defined, so which is our IP in the Kubernetes Master, and I think we are all set here. Now let's continue configuring the networking for this environment. We need to configure all the network to enable this Kubernetes cluster to connect into the different nodes. Let's see. Okay, I have only my master node. I guess I don't have in my bash rc oh bash rc grep minus ignore case, and then let's look for kube. My gosh, I'm not in the home, so let me where is that file? Sorry for that. So this is okay. I don't have kube in my bash. I'm going to add the kube config into my Ubuntu bash, and if I look for that again, now it is there. Kube config equals, instead of the Kubernetes conf, I'm going to use the new that I just copied, and that's it. Just for us to be sure that it is working, let me just bi directly into my home bash rc, and I should have that over here. Yes, and I can just change this with that one. Again, kube get nodes. What is the user etc Kubernetes admin? Okay, I'm going to run that again and test it. Okay, we are all done here, and what else? Okay, let's configure the Flannel network, right? So it is over here, and then I think it's in the directory Flannel. Yes, cd Flannel, and we have everything here. The images that we uploaded, and the kube Flannel is the important one. Let me clear the screen here, and I'm going to apply the kube configuration. So kubectl apply -f, and the file is kube. Yeah, that's it. This is configuring the network pods. All the pods are there. We have created a namespace with kube Flannel, and all the required pods and configurations created there. So kubectl get namespaces. You will see that we have this kube Flannel. Namespaces. Okay, we have kube Flannel 30 seconds ago, 35 seconds ago, yeah, and the cluster role, service account, and that's it. Okay, let me show you what do we have in our file that was in other directory. And I think I was in the Kubernetes install. So let's go to change to that install directory. And I should have, no, in the home. So I have the kubeadm init log here. I can check all the logs, or just look for the kubeadmin join string, and you will see that you will need to execute that that command when you want to add more nodes into the cluster. So let me just cut this as well. Oh, sorry for that. Let me cut the full file. That's it. So we have the join and the certificate for the additional nodes to be able to be connect to the cluster. So we don't have anything but one master node, and let's just test this command. That's it. That's it. So I will add the additional nodes in another video, so please just keep posted. Subscribe to the channel, and you will see the next steps. Okay, see you in the next video for the worker nodes deployment. Thank you.
I feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to rise up just so they could see me. Did what I had to do just to feed me, and what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me. Take into your hands a plan, your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincingly unwilling to put in the hours it takes to get some power. Don't be fucking sour, take a cold shower, scream until you're louder.